Welcome to Naked Spirituality, a video blog series of sacred attention therapy and the Center for Human Awakening. My name is Rob Meager. For more information about sacred attention therapy, the Center for Human Awakening, and our video blog series, please visit our website at www.centerforhumanawakening.com, and center is spelled C-E-N-T-E-R. These video blogs support one of the Center's core activities, which is collaboration and partnership with individuals, communities, and healing centers practicing personal growth and spiritual development. And our guest today is Laura Aversano, and we'll be speaking with Laura about her healing work. And I would now like to invite Laura to join us.
Thank you for having me, Robert.
Hello, Laura. It's nice to be with you. Thank you for joining me.
Sure, happy to be here.
There's two words that greet the visitor to your website on your homepage, and those two words are spirit walker. Spirit walker. And I wanted to ask you, Laura, to begin, what's the significance of those two words, spirit walker?
Sure. A spirit walker, for me, is a person who is able to transcend time and reality and walk in various dimensions of the earth plane and the spirit world and achieve and obtain medicine to be able to bring down to impart on others here, as well as to impart healing medicine for those on the other side that are still working on their issues.
Beautiful. And how did you come to do this work with people, Laura?
I was born into a very strange and loving family, and I say that with a lot of levity. My mother is a very talented seer, as well as others in my immediate family, and this has been passed down through many generations. And when I was a child, I remember speaking to my mom about previous lifetimes, how I died, how I lived. I would speak with spirits and talk with her about the conversations I would have. And I just did not feel that I belonged in this world alone. And I wanted to understand more of what those beyond the veil had to teach me.
Was there any point along the journey, Laura, where you questioned this gift? Was there a point at which you accepted these beautiful gifts?
Yes.
And then began to work with them more through divine truth, if I can call it that, and offer them to humanity?
Yes. I think it was 19 years old, I came down, 19 or 20, I came down with a serious illness that went undiagnosed. I didn't have full use of my legs, I'll term it that way, and I was very energetically sensitive, I was very chemically sensitive, my immune system was very suppressed. I would go from physician to physician trying to figure out what happened, and when that took place, I also started to experience spiritual manifestations that I had no understanding of. And I sought out the help of non-traditional practitioners, besides the help of those family members, to help me understand what was unfolding.
And when did you start, Laura, in accepting these gifts? I refer to them as gifts, healing gifts. When did you begin to allow them to flow through you out to humanity in this time and space?
I officially started my practice, I would say, 21 years ago.
Okay.
21 years ago. Before that, I had started to study with various mentors and teachers, read a lot of books on healing, and I just noticed through my work with centering prayer, as well as communicating with the other side, I began to develop at such a fast pace. and try to work with what was happening to me. And the only way that I felt that I can channel that out is by starting to see clients.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, your website refers to you as a, quote, ancestral and medical empath.
Yeah.
Now for those not familiar with your work, how would you describe an ancestral and medical empath?
Sure. May I separate the two?
Sure.
Great. So a medical empath or intuitive, there are a few of us out there, so I can only define it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So a medical intuitive, or the work that I do, is when somebody comes to me with an ailment, I will work to palpate the various frequencies that appear to me, meaning every thought, every emotion, every illness has a vibration or frequency, as well as every living thing in creation.
Mm.
When I communicate with the other side, all of those beings also have a frequency.
Mm.
So in my 21 years of practice, I have learned the various frequencies of various ailments and illnesses.
Mm.
So between my learning, my diagnostic skills through hand palpation,
Mm-hmm.
through clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, I've been able to, and I'm going to use this term loosely, diagnose an illness
Mm-hmm.
either before it's happened, after it's happened,
Mm-hmm.
and or diagnose the origins of an illness, and or predict something that might occur just because of what I'm seeing in the patterns that it brings to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And with that, then I will offer or make suggestions as to remedies. And those remedies could be anything physically related, emotionally related, or spiritually related.
Okay. Okay.
So
What's
that's,
the what? Sorry, go ahead, Laura.
That's the medical intuitive part. So I was going to talk about the ancestral piece,
Yes.
but I'll take your question if you want.
Well, no, I was going to ask you, what about the ancestral side?
That I love, even more so than the medical part.
Okay.
So how should I phrase this? Our illnesses, in my belief, are not our own.
Mm-hmm.
We belong to a greater collective conscience.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a field of study that's been around called epigenetics that scientists have been really looking at, where they're actually tracing illnesses in your cells and your tissues, in your DNA, back to your ancestors.
Okay.
So somebody like myself has been able to, let's say, look at your mother, look at your father, or look generations back in the spirit world and say, wait a minute, I'm seeing this person suffered from depression, and I'm seeing it 2 generations later. I'm seeing it 3 generations later. So your depression is not just yours. It also belongs to your lineage. So it's not just something that I'd want to offer suggestions to balance in this world. I want to go back 400 years ago and see what the root cause is there. Why are your ancestors or those beings around you still holding on to the depression? Where was the trauma? Where was the loss? Where was the imbalance? Let's see what we can do in both worlds to bring whatever balance can be brought under divine will. I hope I made sense there.
Yes, yes.
Would you like an example?
Please, feel free.
If that helps. I remember working with a client a long time ago, and she had pernicious anemia.
Okay.
And it was something, she was in her 70s, it was something that she struggled to work with. And she said, I've done everything traditionally as well as alternatively. Can you see what might be attached to this? So I asked her not to tell me anything else, and I went into her energy field, and I said, humor me, confirm, not confirm. What I'm seeing is, I feel like your ancestors came from the south. I feel like there was some sort of tenant farmers, and I have a sense that there was, starvation was plentiful. And she said, you're absolutely right. I said, I just see a lack of food, and I see them so skinny and developing illnesses, nutritionally related illnesses, because they were not allowed to produce enough vegetation, and because of the issues around slavery. And she said, you're absolutely right.
I said, so now we have to look at what's surrounding that pattern, the emotions held on by those ancestors, and the thread is connecting the two of you, and let's see if we can offer a different kind of remedy.
What a beautiful healing gift, again, for those people who are able to resonate with the gift that you can offer. I think as healers would like to think everyone who comes to us, we're able to heal, and on some degree and some level we are. But there'll be those people who'll be looking precisely and exactly for what it is you can offer. And there are 4 major areas of healing work that your website speaks to. One of them is the medical intuitive consultations, which I think you just spoke to. There's also relationship and ancestral work, as well as plant spirit medicine sessions, and then the 4th is the pets.
Yes.
I didn't know I've got a real heart space for pets. But if you haven't spoken already to the medical intuitive consultations, if you can summary that, but in addition, can you speak to your relationship and ancestral work, the plant spirit medicine sessions, and the work you do with pets?
Sure. I'll start with my favorite, pets, of course, so I can relate to you on that. You know, for years I've used other animal communicators for my own pets because I can't be neutral. And I remember a friend of mine, I think about 15 years ago, he was a chiropractor, and he said, I have a client that just brought in their dog. Can you come and see what's going on with the dog? And I said, okay. I said, that's not my forte, but let me try. And I remember walking into the office and this little dog coming up to me, jumping in my lap. I said, let me just hold your head. And I looked at the owner pretty lividly. And I said, oh my word, you keep this dog, this poor little thing, tied up in your basement on a chain. I said, and you only let him out for hunting. And the man looked at me kind of stupefied. And I was pretty livid at this because I felt the dog was struggling. And I said, you want to know what's wrong with your dog? I said, as far as I'm concerned, you're being abusive. The dog does not want to be held up in the basement in this chain. He needs daylight. He doesn't want to be used just for hunting. And I said, I can only help your dog if you agree to do something to change the way you treat this animal. So it became more of a hobby in the beginning. And clients over the years, when they call me, they're like, oh, by the way, can you just check in and see what's going on with my kitty, my dog, my fish, or something? And I'd say, yes, I'm seeing this around them. Are they going through this? Are they been having this symptom? So I added pets as something that I love to do.
Beautiful.
And I also learned that they take on our illnesses. And I learned this a long time ago, especially through something that I was going through. I remember, I think it was 15 years ago, I was exposed to a toxic substance and something that would normally destroy your heart. And I went to a doctor and I said, listen, I was exposed to this, and they all got very concerned and did an EKG and did some blood work, and they were like, how can this be normal? And I said, it's normal because my cat has been lying on my liver, and in a few months she's probably going to develop liver cancer. And so it was. Within 2 months, I was fine and nothing had happened to me. She unexplainably, I mean, I know what happened, sat on my liver for probably 3 weeks, and she started to develop symptoms a month after that. And then she crossed. And I see this over and over again with animals when people are working through something emotionally or physically. They are servants between the spirit world and the human world. It warms my heart.
I feel the love.
Yes.
How about the plant medicine?
Sure.
Plant spirit medicine session.
Plant spirit medicine sessions. Any medicine whether it's food, a plant, a flower, the air you breathe, again, that all has a vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So when I open up to the spirit world and look at a person's health, their physical health, their emotional, spiritual health, I look for a remedy. And it's not just a plant. I will look for a remedy to match that vibration. I will hold it in a space of reverence and ask it to help heal the person through prayer. I may not verbalize that with the person I'm working with.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually receive some feedback from the client as to how it's impacted them. So whenever you hold space for anything that we are taking in our bodies, anything live, let me clarify that, anything live, we create a sacred relationship with it.
Mm.
So those are my plant spirit medicine sessions.
Okay. And then finally, the relationship and ancestral work. I'm assuming it's quite closely linked to the medical intuitive consultations.
Yes. So kind of what I was explaining before, when somebody comes to me with a challenge, besides seeing what happens or what is happening with their ancestors, I will speak with both the ancestors as well as the person sitting in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
as though they were all in the room together, and for me they are,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
basically do relationship counseling.
Yes.
See what both parties need for their highest good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See how to work through the power struggle. See how to work through the fear,
Mm-hmm.
through the grief, through the loss.
Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful work that you do.
Thank you.
Now, Laura, you're also a published author.
Yes.
And there's several books
Yes.
that are featured on your website. Would you like to share with our audience the books that you've published?
Sure. Divine Nature of Plants, I think, was my first, and that was quite a while ago, and that's on plant spirit medicine.
Okay.
The second was The Light of God, and that's on mystical Christianity.
Okay.
Very different. The third was, oh my word, what's the third? Plant Spirit Journey. See, I forgot. And that actually was a continuation of the divine nature of plants.
Okay.
I added a story to that, and we use the same remedies in the book, but there's a story now in Plant Spirit Journey.
Okay.
And my last work, Spirit Walker, was actually my first novel,
Oh, okay.
based on my life's work.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. And these are all available on your website.
They're all available on Amazon, but you can see them. You can click on my website, and there should be a link to click you and take you to Amazon.
Okay. Now, speaking of your website, if someone wanted to reach out to you, how could they do so, Laura?
Sure. They can look me up, lauraaversano.com. I am also on Facebook. My professional Facebook page is Laura Silvana Aversano /Spirit Walker. And many people also just look up my personal page, which is Laura Aversano.
Okay, all right. Now, can people access these social media channels, these Facebook channels, through the website?
Yes, they
Okay.
can. They can access the professional page via the website.
Okay.
Yeah, the personal page, they'll just look up Laura Aversano.
And is there an email you'd want to mention at this time, or can they just contact you by email through the website?
They can contact me through the website, and the same email is lauraaversano@aol.com.
Wonderful. Laura, I want to thank you so much for being with us. It's beautiful work you do, and thank you for being there for those who reach out to you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.